Hello makers. In this video we're going to start putting together Fred, my Inmoov's head. Before we start going anywhere with the head, we need to have somewhere to work on it. It's an inherently unstable type of device. It rolls around everywhere, making it hard to work on. So having a good stand is probably the best option. Now I found online on Thingiverse a stand that also supports a servo, because the Inmoov head does move around a bit. It has servo specifically to do that. Now I printed out the two parts, that's the base, and it supports a servo mounted in the bottom to actually lift and lower the head. Now unfortunately there are a couple of little problems with it. The holes weren't big enough. As you may have noticed, they were a lot smaller than that when it was printing. And the other problem is the servo has wires that come out, so I had to cut a notch out for the wires for the servo to go into. Now once we put the next piece on, unfortunately you can't get the servo in because it tends to block the access. So we're going to install the servo first. Now these servos can make a bit of noise, and these holes are a bit big for the screws that they supply to secure the servo in with. But they do come with these rubber mounts. These rubber mounts help take away some of the noise, but the little grommets that go through are actually the right size for these screws. So I'll actually fit them on this one. So that servo is not moving anywhere. Now, I printed out the neck piece, as you would have seen, and this top piece, and I've actually put some screws through and some nuts. But they're not done up very tight, mostly because it's very difficult to do them up when the nuts keep spinning and there's not enough room to grab hold of them. So I'm going to plastic weld them into place. For that I'll need my 3D pen. Now anyone who's watched my videos on PLA welding, you'll know that I like to run my pen at 200 degrees C. Now I have it loaded with white filament. That will just make it easier for the video to pick up where I've left filament. So once this gets up to temperature, we'll get a green light here. We're going to fill in around where the nuts are, and that'll help hold them in place. Because there's so much filament in there, it's going to take a little while for it to cool down. So we'll start on the other side while that happens. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is mount that on there. And for that I have these 5 screws. Now these are ones I think I found them at the local supermarket. They're very short, probably 10mm max. and they're very small in diameter. see they're not very big at all. There are, on the fully articulated head like this is, 2 other servos on the back, which I haven't made allowances for at this stage. Something I'll have to think about. My current plans in the head will see 8 of the outputs of the PCA 9685A pulse width modulated output, so 16 channel I2C unit, which we use to drive servos. That will leave me with some spare channels. Okay, so the next part of this build will be this. Now, that is the top part. This print didn't go particularly well. The support and the bottom of this all nut here and this one actually moved during print. So unfortunately it's classified as a failure, but it'll do for this. And that just literally clipped into place. Now I've still got printing as we speak. The piston arrangement goes from the servo to this point, to not up and down. And I haven't yet worked out what I'm doing at the back here. On Inmoov itself, there are 2 pistons that work. They're wired together. They use a single servo, and the other servo has the electronically removed. The motor is connected in reverse, so they pull side to side. I may yet have to do something like that. I hadn't planned on taking those servo wires down from the head. I plan only to run power, so ground, and we'll call it the battery voltage, whether that be 6 or 12 volt. Initially I'll be running at 6 volt because I haven't got the power supplies for all the other servos throughout the rest of the body yet. Now, so this is my solution to not having to print the pistons. A lot of people, including myself, have had trouble with the pistons, getting them to work. They are a difficult part to print. I do see questions online in the forums, how do people print them? There are various suggestions, as in printing the inner part slightly smaller than the outer part in the X and Y, or keeping the Z the same height. There are other settings that people have mentioned as well, which don't actually come to mind at the moment. I've been looking at taking the idea that Gael had for his fingers and extending it to the neck, and that is to use pull lines. So on this setup you can see I've actually got some 200-pound fishing line. Mine came in red, and I've connected this line and a screw on the back, this line, and connected that to a JX 5521MG 180 degree servo. The other 2 lines, because this is a head that can tilt in both directions, I have just tied back the mounting screws to stop them from moving. If there was a servo mount available on the back, or room for another one in the front, then I would mount a second servo to control side to side. So we'll call that the pitch movement, that the roll movement, and then when the head rotates we'll call that the yaw movement. And this actually works reasonably well. So now I have a base that I can put the head of the robot on as I build it. So that'll do for this video. Recently I created a Patreon creator account after somebody in one of my other videos made comment that they couldn't find it. They couldn't find it because I didn't have one. So that has been created if you wish to support future videos like this one. Don't forget to subscribe. I've noticed looking at the YouTube analytics that 90% of people who watch this video, and I'm talking watch hours not views, aren't subscribed. If you want to know when future videos are coming out, if you subscribe and ring that notification bell, YouTube will let you know. So don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so that you know when more videos are coming out, and I'll see you in the next video.